During the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef, the biggest question asked was, where is the proof when it comes to Drake and his inappropriate relationships with girls over the 10 years of his career? Even Drake was aware of this, and in the tailor-made freestyle, he used a AI version voice of Tupac to hint towards Kendrick Lamar possibly using that as a diss. It sounded to me as though he was trying to get ahead of it. But what Drake just did is bring even more eyes on it because, sister, something don't smell right when it comes to this. And I want to talk about it.
Y'all already know what time it is. I got the black V-neck on.
So what's going on, you all? You all know that I am full steam ahead when it comes to the Drake hate train. I lost all respect for Drake when he mentioned Megan Thee Stallion and he hinted towards her not being shot and shouted out Tory Lanez, somebody who he once had beef with. Drake has a history of women who have no interest in him, taking shots at them, trying to embarrass them. He has went from lover boy to full like F-boy. And we don't know what culture that Drake is about to steal now. We do know one thing. Drake has a weird history with girls. And the fact that he even mentioned it in that tailor-made song is evident of it. So while I was on Twitter doing the Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef, there was this thread that was shared to me by a friend. And in this thread, you had this person naming all of Drake's inappropriate relationships with girls, or girls who just so happened to be 17 going on 18, or he had met them when they were young. And they kind of just talked about Drake's, possible grooming and how he was being friends with them and, may have dated them. I told my friend that Twitter account more than likely is going to be suspended. I felt like this Twitter account was being shadow banned because as big as the beef was going on, this was the proof. Like, this was laid out in detail. You have all these men who've been dissecting the beef and talking about, oh, we've never heard and seen this, and I'm not aware of this. I don't want to hear that. You don't even have to be somewhat even tapped in to know the long running joke of Drake being interested in young girls. You don't even have to know it's Drake. You can just know that it's men in the hip hop industry, period. Like, we can go through several relationships and several marriages of men in hip hop who have had power in this industry, be in a relationship or dating or have a child with a way younger woman. Like, it is known fact. And there's even been interviews where folks have talked about possibly dating Drake or Drake following them when they were young, and people laughed. Like, there was one specific interview that I saw where you had this person say she doesn't know why Drake was following her while she was in high school. And the audience laughed.
Okay, so, like I told you, like the past 2 years, I've really been taking producing serious. So 2 years ago, Wise took it serious. The first person and really the only artist I reached out to was Drake. I never met him, never spoke to him. I don't know why he's been following me for the past 6 years. I don't know why, but
I'm sure we all can figure out. We all know why.
Like, it is a known secret, and it is the same thing that was happening with another artist that is currently locked up for the same thing. And if you follow the patterns, how that person, the Pied Piper, talked about it in his music, if you pay attention to some of the things that Drake is saying in his music about specific girls that he has dated or hinted towards, the proof is right there. But a lot of people do not want to see it. So I went and looked at every one of these alleged relationships and I researched them. I wanted to see proof beyond just Reddit, because the original thread came from Reddit. There was a thread on Reddit that, talked about Drake and his relationships with girls over the years. And I felt like that person took that and added some more stuff to it on Twitter. And I said I wanted to make sure that these things like had some support, some weight on it. And looking it up, there were articles like from years of like hinting towards Drake talking to somebody. So each one will be in a chapter. And we're going to start with a soft launch, chapter 1. The one that everybody knows about when it comes to Drake. Drake having this 17-year-old girl on the stage talking about her body. Why do you look like that? You thick, you curvaceous. Look at all of this. After this young girl has said that she's 17. Now, the girl came out later on to defend Drake, and she said that his entourage brought her on the stage, and Drake didn't do it, but his people did it, and he was nice and all the other stuff. It is still inappropriate. And if we're talking about the entourage is picking you out and bringing you on the stage, that means that they know what Drake likes. And that is something that Kendrick Lamar talked about in these diss tracks. Like, he talked about the whole team is messed up. Like, the embassy is about to be raided. Like, girl, like, he weird. Why he around? And I can't imagine, like, anybody, like, what is going on? Like, that was the reason, like, y'all didn't go and check. And this was in 2010. And video, surfaced. This happened in Denver, Colorado. And he brought her on the stage and was just talking about, I can't go to jail yet, man. Yeah. So let's move on to chapter 2, Hailey Baldwin. Now, during this interview that Hailey did, she talked about knowing Drake for about 4 years and that she had met him, and Drake may have been 25 at the time and she was 15. It's also being reported that she was invited to his 28th birthday party while she was 17. And Drake, like I said earlier, does this thing where he mentions women that he have dated in his music. And some people have speculated that he may have been talking about her in one of his songs, Bahama Promises. And he says, Hailey, it's sad that I know all the tea. Broken pinky promises, you effed up our Bahamas trip. I know that you're not for me. I'm tired of your apologies. You put the no in monogamy. You know that you're not for me. You're living in my mind for free. And for someone you don't miss, I sure feel like somebody you need. You should have been with me. Now, like I said, it was rumored that they were dating back in 2016. And they were spotted out a couple of times. And in this interview, you see that Hailey is talking about she's known him for years. And if you do the math, that means that she was under 18 at the time, while they were getting to know each other, and Drake was headed close to his 30s. This is just chapter 2. And I'm not really getting to the heavy stuff, but it is building a pattern of behavior. Even if we don't get quote unquote full proof, because we have to move away from this quote unquote proof. You all heard several folks for years talk about their experiences with Diddy. And it took a video for folks to say, oh, wow, like for everybody. You're not going to get video evidence all the time. You're not. Believe them from the very, very beginning. Even Cassie said that in her release statement after the video was made public. Like, you need to believe them from the very, very beginning. So back in 2016, Drake and Hailey were reportedly wearing the same chain with the letter H on it. And in this interview, you hear Hailey say that she didn't tell her parents that she went to a Drake concert.
What is a secret you kept from your parents? When I was 16, I said that I was like going out with my sister and we were just like going out to dinner and we went to the Drake concert instead. They never found out for like years, and then my sister and I ended up telling them when we were older.
She said she didn't tell her parents that she lied and she went to a Drake concert. It's the fact that she went to Drake's concert and that she's already said that she's known him for years. And she said she had to lie to go to the concert. We're going to move on. Let's move on to the next chapter, Millie Brown. Millie Brown was the one that got a lot of folks like, what's going on? Because Millie Bobbie Brown shared that she was texting Drake and they were talking about boys and all the other stuff. And he was fanned out when he met her. She was, playing in Stranger Things or whatever. And Drake is a child star. Like, he played in Degrassi and some other stuff. And Millie Brown is, that as well. But they were having conversations when she was a minor. And in an interview, she shares that she was texting him.
What about your relationship with Drake? Tell me about your friendship. How did this all come about?
I love him. I met him in Australia, and he's honestly so fantastic and a great friend and a great role model. We just texted each other the other day, and he was like, I miss you so much. I was like, I miss you more. He's coming to Atlanta, so I'm definitely going to go and see him. I'm so excited, yeah.
So she had to come out later and put out some statements and say, oh, it's not that serious, like me and Drake are friends. Again, the history of Drake so happened to be friends with someone who is underage, minor, and they just so happen to be a girl. They just so happen to be thin white women or thin non-black women. Like, come on, like we're getting somewhere. So this one, the next one, as we move on to the next chapter, this one really stuck out for me because if you listen again, there's like details and stuff that is coming out. So Charlotte D'Alessio, if I'm saying her name right, was a teenager that became viral online overnight. She became an overnight celebrity. The reason why this one jumped out to me is because the mother of Charlotte talked about how she knew her life and her child's life was like about to change when she was driving. And in the back seat, she can hear her daughter and her friend talk about, we just got a text from Drake. And she didn't think anything of it. Like, she didn't think anything of it like, oh, celebrity. She didn't really consider how inappropriate it is for Drake to be a grown man reaching out to this Instagram known girl who has went viral, who is known for her beauty, who is a teenager, and Drake, once again, using his celebrity status, using his power to like, hey, I'm a celebrity, I'm a known celebrity. I message you, more than likely you're going to respond. Like, you're going to respond and I'm going to make a move. So this is what her mother said in the interview. They were in the back of the car chatting away and checking in on social to see they were in Toronto, just like normal teenagers. And then suddenly Madison was like, oh God, is Drake FaceTiming us? Should I answer? As Ford drove on, listening to her daughter and her friend chatting away in the backseat with one of the biggest hip hop stars on the planet, she felt the world as she knew it shifting under the wheels of her car. I thought, okay, she's hanging out with Drake. I guess this is for real. Charlotte was a teenager at this time. Drake was a grown man. It's not occurring to her that this is kind of weird. I think we have to consider stuff like that because people oftentimes want to blame the parents, and sometimes parents do need some lashings, but sometimes parents are just not aware. As someone who used to be in chat rooms when I was 15, 16 years old, talking to I don't even know, because we didn't even have pictures and stuff. We didn't have FaceTime and all the other stuff. Like, it happens, and you can never, ever completely protect your child from anything. All you can do is to educate them, inform them, and create a space safe enough for them to feel comfortable sharing their lives. Like, because if you come in and be very stern and shut down everything and just checking everything, checking phones, checking all the other stuff, you heavily policing your child is not going to stop that. You need to create a safe space for your child to share the things that are going on in their lives. So let's move on to the next chapter, Bella Harris. Now, it was reported that Bella Harris and Drake were dating, and that Drake had shut down a restaurant for her to have dinner with him. And she had to come out and say that she was not with him. She was somewhere else. And he had to release a statement, or his folks had to release a statement and say that's not true. But, you know, Drake was 31 at the time and she was 18. And it was rumors that they were dating. They even took a picture together. The picture can be careless, but once again, going into the pattern of you being with this girl who is way, way younger than you. And like, why have we not seen Drake in a relationship, a thriving relationship with a woman his age? Like, why have we not? This is the most successful hip hop star the last 10 years, coined up, desirable, handsome, all of the things. What is going on? Like, y'all will be dragging women for not being able to keep a man. Why can't Drake find a woman, not just a woman? Why can't he find a woman his age? Like, what's going on? Moving on, let's talk about Cydney Christine. She said in an interview she didn't know why Drake had been following her for about 6 years in a Complex interview. This is the interview I was talking about earlier.
2 years ago, Wise took it serious. The first person and really the only artist I reached out to was Drake. I never met him, never spoke to him. I don't know why he'd been following me for the past 6 years. I don't know why, but
I'm sure we all can figure out. We all know why.
The people laughed and said, well, you know why he been following, you know why. The same thing when Angel Reese and some female basketball stars went on the Breakfast Club and talked about who has been in their DMs.
So who's been in your DMs and that y'all been surprised about?
What short kings been in y'all DMs? and y'all about to miss out.
It ain't gotta be the holler just to congratulate you.
Oh, congratulations! Let's just say congratulations.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say all congratulations to clear the air because I know how I get. Yeah.
We gonna say it anyway, but go ahead. Start with the short guys.
Short, all of them shorter than me. Drake, Future.
That's the one you got to be careful of.
You said two that you need to stay far.
What is going on? Like, these are grown men, damn near 40. Like, these girls are young as why? What is going on? Like, in this interview, you hear Charlemagne and the other hosts and stuff laugh and say, "Stay away from them." Da, da, da. It's like, it's an open secret. Like, you all know what is going on. Same thing was said about the Pied Piper, R. Kelly. The same thing was said. Same open jokes with Diddy. Same jokes about Diddy in his parties, Diddy in his, behavior with women, all of the things. And then in Cassie's lawsuit, we see Cassie detail that she had to participate in quote unquote FOs, which are freak offs, so Diddy can watch. Like, it's an open secret. Like, y'all joke about it, but nobody's doing anything about it. Like, nobody's doing anything, but it's an open joke. Like, where are the jokes coming from? Where are they originated from? Cydney also shares that Drake was a fan of women's high school basketball.
Okay, so the Drake thing.
Mm-hmm.
You met him, when did you first meet him?
So I played basketball, right? So he really was a fan of supported one of my teammates at the time. And
this is when you're in high school?
Yeah, in high school. So he was a fan of women's basketball, high school basketball. I was her teammate, so he followed me because of her. And I was like, oh, you got Drake to follow me? Like, what the hell? Like, that's so crazy.
I've never heard the term women's high school basketball team. Never heard of it ever. What does that mean? Like, what is going on? Like, I thought it was junior varsity and girls high school basketball. Like, I didn't play sports in high school, but I was in a band, and I never heard them say we're going to the women's high school basketball. Like, that doesn't even, what's going on? Cydney and other folks, they have to speak in a specific type of way because they know that it is damaging. They know that if they say it, people are going to be like, huh? Like, people are starting to put it together. And there's other things that were said that came out. I was like, girl, what is going on? Like, not too long ago, Ruby Rose was being talked about, and she had to delete a lot of tweets where she talked about going to clubs. She was going to basketball games. She was going to football games. Like, you know, grown men who were playing professional ball, professional sports were flying her out, and she was dating them. And she had to delete tweets about several men that she was allegedly dating. And people made it seem as though it was Ruby Rose's fault, like she was fast and she was doing all that other stuff. She is a minor. She's a minor. That is not her fault. That is the fault of the men who were doing all of it. They knew what they were doing. They knew exactly what they were doing. And we see this. Like, can't nobody like make you date them. Can't nobody make you, what is going on? Like, you are the adult in this situation. Moving on to the next chapter. Kylie Jenner. This one, truly weird. I mean, all of them are weird. Drake performed at her 16th birthday party. He took a picture with her, and he posted a picture of him with Kylie when he was beefing with Tyga, because Tyga was dating Kylie at one point.
It's on me to dictate my life, and if I decide in the future that I want to be with Kylie, or if I decide
Let me tell you something. Every time one of these men is in trouble or something and we got to get the tea, it's always on the Breakfast Club. Y'all are chatty patties, and y'all be telling on yourselves. Like, what's going on? Like, what is the tea? So he even called Kylie Jenner a side piece in one of his unreleased songs. I think the song was called Side Piece, and the song was with him and Future. And this is what he said. Yeah, I'm a hater to society, real shit. Kylie Jenner, that's a side piece. Yeah, I got 20 more Kylies. Yeah, I got 20 Kendalls, Young Slim, baddies, and they in vogue. Yeah, I got 20 effing GGs. What? Again, Drake mentioning the things that he does in his music. Saying it out loud. I know I'm getting off subject, but this makes me think about this tweet that I saw the other day where Twitter was taking away likes. And one of my mutuals said, well, gays gonna have to find something else to talk about because there's this running thing about like black gay men liking white men pictures and, only dating white men. And we see it in their likes. I don't have to see the likes. I can see how you engage, how you talk. The way that you're interacting with this post and talking about this specific tweet is kind of telling us something, because nobody else is upset about it. But the people who are tired of the conversation because they might be, guilty, are telling on themselves. They can't shut up. And Drake, big ego, can't help himself, feeling invincible, powerful, like he can't be stopped, talked about this in a song. Like, you hung out with this girl on her 18th birthday, performed at her 16th birthday, and you just so happened to date her years later. What's going on? How are you dating somebody you met them? What's going on? Like, what is this? It's just a mess. Last but not least, Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish, it seems innocent. She said that she talked to him. They were cool or whatever. She texted him a couple of times. She said that he was a fan and she enjoyed his stuff as well.
But like Drake, come on. Drake is like the nicest dude I've ever spoken to. I mean, I've only like texted him, but he's so nice. Like, he does not need to be nice. You know what I mean? He's at a level in his life where he doesn't need to be nice, but he is, you know?
And Billie Eilish was, you know, young around this time as well when she was having conversations with Drake. There's no rumor of them dating, no rumor of them like being together, not having any chains or any of that. But even if he was not dating Billie Eilish, it goes into, once again, the pattern of Drake being in proximity with these girls who just so happen to turn 18, who are like, you know, friends with him when they're 18, or they known him before they were 18. Out of all these stories, we have like 7 of them that are consistent, the same thing. So when we talk about like proof, what else do we need to see when there's a whole yellow brick road? It's a whole, all of the things are there. Like all of the things. Like you got Kylie, he dated Kylie, Cydney Christine, the Bella Harris, the Charlotte, texting him while she was 15, 16 years old when he was 20 something. Millie Brown, innocent. But why are you texting that's not in your family? What is going on? The Hailey Bieber situation where she had to lie about going to your concert and has slipped up and said that she's known you for years. What's going on? So we have to ask ourselves, what else proof do we need? Like what else do you need? The fact that men are out here dissecting and theorizing that Kendrick was talking about this and breaking down all of these things, and that y'all can't, hey, Drake, like even Joe Budden, who is lost in the sauce, who is a true misogynist, a called out abuser, said that it looks weird. It looks weird. But men in the industry in hip hop don't want to say this because that is their homeboys and that is also them. All of them. So when I talk about like these men chasing like these non-black women and light-skinned women, oftentimes they are way, way, way younger than them. Like they be 40-something years old. Like, what's going on? Like, what's the tea? Y'all are grown men, successful, all these things. That's why I don't be caring when these girls be getting pregnant and milking them dry. More paper and more paper, period. Like, y'all know what it is. Y'all can't keep y'all hands to yourselves. Y'all can't. And y'all feel invincible. So, again, when we talk about, like, where's the proof? Like, what else do y'all need? What else do y'all need? But I forgot when it comes to women and stuff, y'all don't want to believe it anyway. The same thing happened with Megan Thee Stallion. When we need proof, we need to see da-da-da. That girl had to like give so much stuff and y'all still did not want to hear it. With that being said, maybe y'all just don't want to believe women. Maybe that's why. Maybe if we start believing them, we wouldn't have to deal with any of these things. They shouldn't have to lay out and relive their pain for us to believe them, like over and over again. The trauma and stuff. Like, you know, but it is what it is. There's a pattern with Drake and people see it. There is plenty of evidence and stuff about it. Plenty of articles and stuff supporting all of these things. And it's not just a random blog. It is ET, People Magazine, Complex, The Guardian. Like all these folks, like even Daily Mail, known sources, like well-respected, are saying, hey girl, the girls is talking. And it's being documented at this time. Like it wasn't something that was written in 2024. This stuff I'm reading is like this 2017, 2015. We just have to ask ourselves, do we really want to believe it? I think that's our issue. That's all I got. Drake is weird. And his pattern with girls over the last 10 years is telling of him and his character. And we will see what will happen in the next 10, 20 years or whatever. But something in the milk ain't clean.
It's getting weird.